All right, what's up, YouTube? Jables here. Welcome in, everybody. Hello, hello. Um, Today I wanted to make a video for all of us so that we can become somewhat friends with Act 3. It seems to be one of the most frustrating and the most hated acts, specifically because of the Spider Forest, Great Marsh, and Flare Jungle, right? Those maps are incredibly chaotic. There's weird connectors. The river changes the direction of the path sometimes. It gets kind of crazy. But don't worry, I'm here to kind of um, help us all out. And hold on one second, actually. Gosh darn it. Let me see this. Whoop. I wanted to kind of do some stuff behind the scenes, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go live with this, right? Okay. Um, so I wanted to make this video so that it's at least a little bit less frustrating when it comes to knowing where the side villages are in those areas, the Spider Forest, Great Marsh, and Flare Jungle, but obviously more specifically Spider Forest and Flare Jungle, especially for those who would want to potentially learn how to rush people, to be quick and knowledgeable of just how, in general, those maps are generated so that it becomes a little less frustrating finding those villages, finding those um, like the Spider Cavern and the Flare Dungeon and the Gidbin and all that good stuff, right? So I want to do this live with you guys. Let's create a game, and I think we're going to do it in normal, okay? Because we'll be safe. Nothing can really kill us here. And I want to explain, not necessarily like the Great Marsh skip or anything like that, because it's not about that. The Great Marsh skip just could happen randomly, okay? Just that's by chance. It's nothing that we can do about it, whether or not we get one or not. If you guys are not familiar with what a Great Marsh skip is, it's essentially, here, I'll do a little quick TLDR about the three first zones. Um, in general, right, there's like this whole thing where this each zone is actually kind of separated into like six parts, and there's like a whole great video that Mr. Llama did about it. But essentially, what happens is you have a spider forest, okay? Spider forest. And then you have a great marsh and a flare jungle. They can be connected however they please, okay? So sometimes you will be forced to go through the great marsh because the connection is, well, there is no connection, meaning you are forced to go through the great marsh to get to the flare jungle, right? Okay, essentially, all right? This is like one example of like a map generation. This is just like a quick, just explanation of when a skip can happen. Like this would be an example of no skip, right? Okay, and this is random. You cannot tell, you cannot know beforehand or anything like that. It just happens. Okay, this is just like a random map seed, and this is how it happens. Now, the map skip, when that happens, it could be like this, for example. So if you have Spider Forest here, whoops, geez Louise, that was crazy. Okay. Spider Forest here, you can potentially, for example, have I'm overlapping them just to show that they go into each other, but it's not going to be going into each other at the corner, just by the way, okay? It's not like that. Because they could actually connect in various different points, and that's what I'm saying. Like if you guys want to learn about where they can connect and all that stuff, you guys can go to Mr. Llama's video. It's a long time ago, but he did a good job there. But essentially, what could happen is something like this. So sometimes the Flare Jungle and the Great Marsh aren't even connected. actually, and there's no even way to get to each other besides through the spider forest. So this is what's called a Great Marsh skip. That if you are knowledgeable enough to check this way first and not accidentally go to the Great Marsh, and sometimes, by the way, there might be a connection here all the way at the end, like, between these. But again, you would waste all this time exploring Great Marsh until you find yourself at the Flare Jungle. But what the Great Marsh skip is when you find that connection directly to the Flare Jungle instead of having to go through the Great Marsh. And like I said, sometimes it's even impossible to get to the Flare Jungle through the Great Marsh because it's just the way that it like was, it rolled because it's random. Okay. So this would be called a skip. All right. But that's not what we're here for. Okay. That's not what we're here for. We are here for, I want to explain to you guys so it's a little less frustrating, how you can tell where the little side villages are. I call them side villages, but they are the little areas where you are greeted by two poles. So just essentially, I want to do this in paint before we actually go explore, so you guys don't think I'm making this up right here. Essentially, what happens? You have a river, okay, when you first leave the town, and this river can, break off into two. It can swerve, whatever. I mean, who knows, right? It can do whatever. It could do a lot of things. Um, right? It could go like that. It could keep going, right? You have a big river and you have things on both sides of the river. All right? Essentially, what all the first areas of Act 3 do is they create these side villages. Now, that's what I call them. Okay? And there's going to be 3 for each zone. So 3 in the Spider Forest, 3 in the Great Marsh, 3 in the Flare Jungle. One of those side villages will have a waypoint and a not good dungeon, meaning like a dungeon that we do not need for our quests. So one village will have a waypoint. Another village will have the dungeon or area that we do need to go into to get our piece, to get our part for our quest. And the third village will just be empty. Okay? This is going to be true for each area. And what happens is this. So this is what I'm hoping to help you guys out with here. It's going to be to at least know in general where the villages could be so that you guys are not wasting time looking on the other side or the wrong side of the zone. Okay? What do I mean by that? If, for example, you find your first village here, okay? By the way, they start off with these 2 poles, right? Okay? If you find your first village on this side of the river, that means that the other 2 villages will also be on this side of the river. Okay? And they could be, I don't know. Okay? They are going to be on this path. Okay? If you find them on this side, then guess what? All of them are going to be on this path. Okay? Now, again, there might be weird things. There might be, like, I'll even show you guys. Oh, it might even be like this. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay? The entrance doesn't have to be on the same side, but the villages themselves. Okay, let's pretend that the river actually kept going here. Okay? The villages themselves will be all on what? On this side. Do you guys see? I think that's a pretty good drawing here. Actually, it's weird, but yes, the entrances might not be facing the same direction. They might be on a weird back wall or front facing wall. They might be behind, like, because Act 3 is very nasty. That's why I think people get frustrated with it very much. But essentially, this will be true for each zone. And that's why it's kind of important. So, like, when I rush people, because that's pretty much, I'm almost a professional rusher at this point. But when I rush people, I do not actually go to the Spider Forest waypoint because I don't know how far I am. Because, here, let me show you. Let's just imagine that the waypoint was right here. Okay. And if I spawn here and I start going forward, I'm going to have to then what? Backtrack to find these villages. But at least I know where the village location is from the waypoint, which means that I know what side of the, I guess, tile generation I should be looking for to find the other two villages. Because remember, the waypoint is next to the not good, the incorrect dungeon or layer or whatever, because there's like the arachnid layer right next to the waypoint. That's the not important zone. So what I do, for example, when I want to rush people, right, for the first zone, I actually walk out here because I want to start from the very beginning and see which side of the river I'm going to be looking for my village. Now, let me explain that village portion. So I'm just going to check both sides in the very beginning until I find my first village, and then I'll know where all the rest of the villages are. Oh, look at this. Okay, good, good. I'm going to show you guys. All right. So these two tomes, right? These two pillars, I guess, right, are indicators of that village. This is what I call that little side village. All right. And this side village, oh, look at that. It's the waypoint, actually. So it's the first side village. Okay. And let's show you guys what the side village looks like. Ta-da. Now look, wow, look at this. We have a connection here. It might be to a different area, or it might be to a continuation of Spider Forest. And it looks like it is. See? So this side village actually has two entrances to it. Would you look at that? Okay. But don't worry. And let's see. Does this actually continue this way? It does. Okay. So this is just like a roundabout of nothingness. Okay. Now, what do I mean? So look at this. Since this village is on the northwest side of the river, of this original river, okay, all of the following villages are going to be in that upper echelon of a tile. Do you guys see my cursor when I'm showing you guys the mini map? They're all going to be on that pathway, if you want to call it, okay? So if you change directions, don't worry. You just have to look for that pathway. Okay, so watch. So it's going to be somewhere here. Like all of the villages are going to be in this area right here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's check if there's a village here. No. Okay, whoopsie doopsie. All right. Okay, there's not going to be villages past. There's not going to be villages over there, so there's no need to check. Okay, but see, we're on this echelon, so let's see. What is this? Ah, this is an empty village, but it's also a connector, if I'm not mistaken. Look at this. And does the connector change? No, it does not. Here, we're going to zoom out in just a second. We're going to try to find the last village here. Whoops. This is too far. And it's going to be probably against this wall somewhere. Hold up. Yep, and we found it. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you when we go to town. I'm going to zoom out all of these zones, and I'm going to show you. But let's I want to just explore it, like so that the mini map shows where we have gone and where the zones have been. Okay. Not enough mana. Don't you dare. Okay. Don't you dare say not enough mana. Okay. Let's see, because I want to have a black. I almost want to have like a black background here so I could show you guys the best. Ooh, that's pretty good actually. Hold on, hold on. Is that good? Is that better? No, I need a black one. Where's there a good black? Oh, right here is good. But that's also not great. Hold on, guys. I did not think this through, maybe. Is there a nice black background that I could show this off on? I guess this might be the best area, okay, to show you guys. Like something like this. Okay, so let's shift. So I want you guys to look at this mini map, and I'm going to shift over what happened, okay? So let's see. We found our first village. Okay, so now imagine, look at this. We're in the town. All of the villages are going to be in this area. Let's keep going. Look at this. Okay, keep in mind this block. Keep going, keep going. Keep going. No villages so far. But by the way, see? You will not find a village further past, like on top here, further past this point right here. You will not. Let's keep going. So this could have been a potential village location because it's on the same kind of it's kind of in the same whatchamacallit, like height in the map. Do you guys see what I mean by that? Okay. But it did not have an entrance here, and it did not have an entrance here. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Okay. And would you look at that? The next village, which was empty, was here. That's village number 2. Let's keep going. It's going to be somewhere. It keeps going on the top. Keeps going, and boom. There is our third village. So all of these villages were in the same rectangular pathway. Okay. Now, let me show you. None of the villages were on the bottom here. Look at this. All of this is empty space. None of the villages were here. Sorry, like under here, like in this black space. Do you guys see this black space? Yes. None of the villages were there. Okay. We're actually going to keep going with this because I want to keep going and show you guys Great Marsh that it works the same way. I don't even have the waypoint for Great Marsh. Okay. Right? And there were no villages up here either. Now, again, this will change zones now. Okay, Great Marsh. Let's keep going this way now. All right, beautiful. So now, again, we're still going to eventually go to the northeast, right? That's how the map is generated. Okay, but beautiful. Look at this. Okay, so this tells us so much information, all right? So take a look at this. This is the beginning of Great Marsh. And we already know that the first village is going to be on the northwest side of this river. Wow, this is amazing for us, like knowledge-wise, okay? This gives us a lot of information so that we don't have to just, you know, randomly look for things. Hey, look at that. Bane's Oathmaker. I should wear this while I'm running here, right? Zoom, 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 zoom. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that all of our villages are going to be in that section. Let's draw. I mean, should we draw it out again? Or is this kind of like a good explanation of what I did? Because this is actually pretty nice. I kind of don't want to destroy this paint job here. Okay, but I'm going to show you guys. Let's see. By the way, yeah, we're just going to, because I'm going to forget. Okay. So we're going to keep checking the top left for any little mini village openings here, okay? We're not even going to worry about the other side because that other side will never have a village, okay? It will never have a village. So that was by the way, I call it an empty village because it just had a chest. I mean, it did have a sparkly chest in there, but it's technically empty. It doesn't have a dungeon associated with it or anything. So the two other villages that are going to be here, one's going to have a waypoint and one's going to have a dungeon. But that dungeon is also not necessary because we're in the Great Marsh. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, don't worry. Don't ever worry about this side. It will never have a village. All right, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Wow, this is a very long one. But again, this is so cool to know this because so many people would what? Waste their time exploring all of these areas, trying to think, oh, there might be a village there. Nope, it's never going to happen, guys. Okay, now look at this. We kind of hit a dead-end wall here, right? So we can have a village at all these dead end walls and the dead end walls going backwards. So like here, do you see how I checked the dead end wall from behind? And we could actually find, oh my gosh, look at this. This is a perfect example. There was a village forward here, okay, which is our waypoint village. Ta-da! Okay, look at that. This is perfect. Oh my gosh, this is like, I can't make this up. Look at this. There's a village there, and there's a village here, both on that side. And this is another, well, I would call it, in the Great Marsh, there's actually no dungeon in the other one either. There's two chests and a waypoint. But let's take a look. This is actually pretty dark. I like this area. Let's kill this off. Okay, stop. Come on, let's kill everybody here, please. Oh my goodness. I want this black background because it's actually really nice. Okay, look at this, guys. Okay. So I'm gonna scroll back. Oh, wait. This, I'm gonna scroll. Wait, no. I'm gonna scroll back to our first village. Look at how far we went without finding a village. Okay. So take a look at this. So we found our first village here. That means any village potential is going to be right here. I'm highlighting it with my cursor here. Do you guys see in the mini map? Okay, so we're going to keep scrolling. Okay, I'm going to show you. Keep going. Okay, so right here, it's the edge of the map here. All of our possibilities are in that section. Okay, keep scrolling. Oh my goodness, do you guys see the first one? But it's a backwards one. Do you see it's facing backwards? So we needed to go around this wall and backwards. But guess what? We found the second village. Okay, keep that in mind. Look at my cursor though. I'm just still showing the area where the villages will be permitted. Okay, let's keep going. And look at that. It looks weird, but my cursor was showing this earlier, correct? Mm-hmm. And look at that. On this tile, I know it's like a little bit cut into here. So you guys are going to be like, hey, Jables, you liar. It's a little bit on this side of the river. Yes, I understand, but that's only because there was a dead end wall here. So again, it might be a little bit weird when there's dead ends or when there's like roundabouts, okay? And that happens all the time. That's why I'm showing you guys that when you do hit somewhat of a dead end or like a wall, you do need to check a little under. Like what if you're already up against the wall that you know for a fact the villages must be, right? Because up until you find your first village, you are actually completely lost. You do not know where the villages will be, right? But once you find your first village and you're already hugging that part of the wall because you know that that's where they're going to be, and you ever hit a wall or again like a turnaround, always check slightly lower than your direction of travel. Okay, check a little bit lower, just like this. See, if you check a little lower, this would have went into this area. And check a little higher. That's why we checked a little bit higher here on the back end, because we knew that still we have the potential of getting what? A village in this section right here. It's like this big chunk right here. Boom. That's where your villages can be. Okay. So, cool. Does that make sense, guys? All right. Now we actually have to find where the heck is our flare jungle. Right, because we actually were not looking for the flare jungle. Okay, so now here's the flare jungle. And look at this. This was a non-skippable map, just FYI. Okay, look at this. We needed to go through the Great Marsh, right? Because that right here under us is Spider Forest. In the middle here is Great Marsh. And then in the top northwest corner is Flare Jungle, meaning there was no Great Marsh skip. You needed to go through the Great Marsh to get here. Okay, there's no direct connection between Spider Forest and Flare Jungle here. Okay, now what's our agenda? Our agenda is to find our first village. So again, let's see. Let's backtrack a little bit and find where the original villages were for Great Marsh. So the original villages were in this section. Okay, which means that we no longer will be able to find villages in that section for Flare Jungle. Okay, let's see. Oh, that might be helpful. Okay, we're checking the top. No villages so far. We're checking the top. No villages so far. Ah, okay. We found our first village, and it is on the northwest side of the river. Okay. What does that mean? We no longer have to check the southeast side of this river. No longer. No need. Because the villages will never be there. Okay, so this is our first village. Let's see which one it actually is. Remember, one's going to be waypoint and useless dungeon. So this is this, and here's the swampy pit, which is not needed for any quest. Okay, so we have two villages left. One is going to be a complete dud without anything in it. And the third one is going to have the Gidbin and the Flare jungle or Flare dungeon in it, which is required, right? Which is good. Okay, so based on this, I just want to show you guys again on this mini map. Okay, it's very important. All of your villages are going to be in this section. So nothing past the river on the southeast side, okay? So all we're going to do now is we're going to be looking for villages in this section right here, okay? Let's keep looking at my mouse, all right? It's that section right there, based on the mini-map. And would you look at that? Another mini village entrance, okay? And it's also on the same tile. Let's see which one this one is going to be. This is the Gidbin and the Flare dungeon. Okay, beautiful. Let's explore it. There's no connectors anywhere else. Okay, but do you guys see? This is actually, they're right next to each other. This is a nice map, you know. Let's see how nice it is for the waypoint, though. Like, if we traveled from the waypoint, how far would these two villages be? Okay, but we're going to keep doing this. We're never going to need to check that side ever again. We know that it's going to be on this section here. Now, if there's a dead end, we might have to go a little bit lower and check. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful map. What a beautiful Flare jungle. Look at this. 3 villages right next door to each other, and this is the waypoint one. Or sorry, did we already get the waypoint one? Yes, we got the waypoint one. This one is the useless one. The one with nothing. It doesn't even have a dungeon. See? Okay, wow. And let's take a look in this dark... hold on, like that, so it has like a darker background. Okay, can you die, please? Can you guys kill off those guys? Yes, kill them off. You guys are strong. Come on. All right, let's take a look at the mini map again. Look at this. Look at this. This is almost self-explanatory. All because this one was, you know, the easiest it could be. These are all villages next door, but they are all in the same, I don't know how else to describe it, but like in the same pathway of northeast, of like going towards the top right? Because in general, Act 3 is all about going to the top right. Like Travancore, everything is going to the northeast every time, no matter where you are. When you leave town, you're walking where? Northeast. So if you're in the same height or in the same pathway as your first village that you find, all of the following villages will be going that direction. Or sorry, in that section, meaning they will not flip on you and go to another side of your thing. Now, there's another little thing that I want to also mention. Now, when you are, for example, let's say you want to rush somebody, right? And you are rushing, so you go out of town for the Spider Forest part, but you definitely don't want a chance not getting a Great Marsh skip, so you obviously go to the waypoint for Flare Jungle, right, to find the Flare dungeon. If you go forward, right, let's say that this was your waypoint, right? Let's say that our waypoint was here, and we go forward, up, like northeast, where we would go towards Travancore. And you notice, I'm going to get to them in just a second, and you notice this gold. This means that past this gold point, we have lower Kurrast, which from a rushing perspective, you would automatically know that, oh, my waypoint village was the last village, which means I have to backtrack, but I still need to stick with this portion of the map to find my other villages. So you would hug the waypoint village wall, okay, and you would eventually hopefully find that. Now again, let's pretend that this village was not there, and let's pretend this village was not there. It's possible that if you kept going, the village would literally just show up here. Like there would be an entrance here, and the village would be like on top of this village. Here, let me show you. It would be on top of this Great Marsh village. right there. Hold on, let me, whoops. It would be like right here. Because this is part of the, what? Of the, oh, no, 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 no. Sorry, never mind. No, no, no. It would have to like go out into this corner. Whoopsies. But you guys get the picture, right? Sorry, I kind of got messed up because I thought that this was on the same height as this village. No, this is a little way too high. But you guys get the picture, okay? This is how it works. And just as a proof of concept, let's actually go past those coins and let's show you that, whoops, wrong way. See, that was a dead end, by the way. Let's go show you guys that past those coins. And by the way, let's also show you there's no villages here ever. See? So you'd be wasting your time looking on this side, especially if you don't have teleport, right? If you're not a teleporting character. Like, you know how many bridges you have to cross to get to go to both sides of the river every time? Like, oh my goodness, that's so much time wasted. But look at this. After these coins, there's going to be some kind of a roundabout here. And it will lead you to this bridge. And it will lead you to Storm Tree, which then goes to Lower Karrast. Okay. Also, these big bonfires with the torches all the way around, this is where you, this is the indicator for the super chests that everybody talks about. Also, I guess a side note, this is not a video about super chests, but if you see this bonfire with these torches, it has to have these torches though around it, because there's bonfires without torches; those do not count. The building to the northeast and to the northwest of this has these super chests, like that one and that one. Okay, and then this building has one super chest, which is that one. Okay. By the way, so super chests drop a lot of cool stuff, or could potentially drop, right? Anyways, okay, do you guys want to do another example? Here, let me just bring up that paint again, okay? And pretty much this is what I wanted to get across, okay? This video is not about the Great Marsh skip or whatever, because again, those are random. You either get it or you don't. And map reading for these sections, again, you'll either notice a pathway, which you'll probably want to check and see, oh, why am I taking damage? Was I in the fire? But you'll either want to check to see, oh, is this a Great Marsh entrance, or is this a Flare Jungle entrance? You know, that's up to you, and that's just up to everybody, literally, because it's random whether or not we get a Great Marsh skip. So you just have to kind of go along, right? Meaning if you don't have any waypoints, you just have to hope that, you know, you don't get dead-ended, for example, at a Black Marsh, and that you made the wrong choice and never checked the flare or the direction to the Flare Jungle when you know, like when you, for example, had a Great Marsh skip, but you didn't take it because you didn't check. Like, that's the sad part whenever people are playing through the game, right? And you get dead-ended in the Great Marsh, and you're like, oh my gosh, I literally am completely lost because I'm supposed to get to the Flare Jungle, and there's nowhere to go from the Great Marsh. And yeah, that means that you have to backtrack to the Spider Forest and find the Flare Jungle from there. Okay, so that part is always random, and unfortunately, you know, that frustration with Act 3 is still going to be there, okay? Unfortunately. But I'm trying to alleviate your guys' frustration and become at least somewhat tolerable to Act 3. Because, I don't know, I think jungles are actually pretty cool. Like, this area in, like, lore-wise, and it's pretty, you know, it's dangerous, like, with the little flares and stuff, like, it's a good area, but people hate it, you know. But yeah, I wanted to at least alleviate that frustration from you guys when it comes to searching for the villages. Okay, do we want to do another video or another game? We could do that. Let's do that just to show you guys another example, because again, this will be true every time. Let's do it quicker this time. Okay. We're just gonna kind of zoom through. Wow, I don't even need damage. What am I doing? But we're just gonna zoom through here, and again, we're gonna go from the town, okay, for the Spider Forest, because in general, I think it's better. It's smarter because you don't know if you take the waypoint, you don't know how far you have to backtrack, or if you have to backtrack. All right. Now, obviously, yes, the first village is gonna, take you the longest because you don't know which side of the river it's on, right? So that's why, yes, you kind of do have to, pick and choose and see. All right, but we found our answer, okay? What is it, boys? Trivia time. All of our villages are going to be what? In this southeast block under the river, okay? Let's check what the first village is. Is this a nothing burger village or is it yep, this is a complete nothing burger village, but it has a connection somewhere, okay? Do you guys want to take the connection right away or do you guys want to keep going the original direction? Let's keep going the original direction. Let's pretend that that connection is not there. Okay, but now it's kind of getting obvious, right? There is gonna be something because this way turns, but that's okay. We know that our possibilities are in that chunk right there. So, what do I want to do? I do want to check up front over here. I want to hit this wall because the potential, remember, this block is still here. Do you guys see my cursor here? It's right there. We could potentially have a village up against this wall because it would match the location of this village, right? Like the entrance could be right here. Okay, but it's not. All right, but it's not. By the way, the location has not changed. Obviously, it's still Spider Forest, so it's not a connection to Great Marsh. Let's see if we keep going. Ah, this is going to be Great Marsh. Okay. But do you guys see? This is our first village. So meaning all of our villages are going to be here. So let's hug this wall, guys. It's never going to be on the bottom. It's never going to be on the bottom. And what did I say? It's like I could read the future. Okay. We found the waypoint village. Okay, which is not good for our quests, but it's there. Okay, and let's keep going the original way. Let's keep going the original way because there's another connection there. Who knows what that is? Ah, it forces us to find out what that is because it's just a connection to itself. Okay, but let's keep going. Let's see. First, do not go down that path yet. Always check up against this wall first because remember, do you see this? This rectangle, right? Yep. A village can have an entrance right here to go up to the northwest because it's in the same pathway going northwest on the same height. All right, on the same height of this tile of all of the first two villages. So we checked. There's no entrance here. Okay, good. So now we can go around. And guess what? Now it's never going to be on this side of the wall. It's always going to be on what? On this side because it has to match that tile or sorry, the height at which the villages spawn. And let me show you guys again. Here, let's go to a darker area. Oh, like this. Oh, this was a good place right there. Hold on, right there. Okay, look at this mini map. Okay. So everything in this section, okay, I'm going to scroll down. Hold on. Look. Look. Ah, look at this. This section right here. Uh-huh. Look. Boom. And boom. It's all, and I know that like this village is a little bit hard to tell. It looks like it's on the river path. So you guys can kind of like maybe say, oh, it's not exactly on that side, but trust me, in a sense it is. This river is kind of your indicator of roughly where that tile is. And I know, see, like this one, if the river kept going here, it would actually cross through here. But notice that the village never started on this side. The entrance was on the where? On the northwest side of that river. And that's how it's going to be. Look at that. Okay, beautiful. Let's keep going. Let's see what's past here. So will we get a skip or is this going to be a dead end? So this might turn into Flare Jungle. Look at that. So here, we did have a skip and probably Great Marsh and Flare Jungle might not even meet. Okay, let's do Flare Jungle. Let's see. Oh, wow. Flare Jungle also has the same setup as Spider Forest, meaning the village. See, this is the first village. The first village is in the same like tile path as all of the villages from Spider Forest, which is kind of good for us because we are used to this already, right? Okay, so this is the useless. Oh wait, no, this is the waypoint. This is the waypoint. because the waypoint has a swampy pit. This is the waypoint village. Okay, so we're going to hug this wall. We know to never need to check this side. We don't ever need to check there. Okay, we just need to check this. And look at this. Next village is right here. Let's see. Is this the empty village? Yep, this is the completely empty village. Hey, look at that. Completely empty village. Will we get the third village on here? Yes, we did. And here's the Goodbin village, and the dungeon village. If you go further in here, you'll get the dungeon. See, and these were all on the same tile once again. Let's look at the map here. Let's look at the map. Look at this. They're all on the same height of the tile generated. And look, if we keep going, it's all going to be the same for Great Marsh, or sorry, for Spider Force as well. Look, look, look. This one. And this one. Yeah, these are a little weird because they're set like this turns into this weird river. But essentially, if you just if you moved this just like tad bit to the top left, like just a tad bit, it would be more easily visible to you guys, like with your brains, like with your eyes, you know, to comprehend. Or actually, you know what could have been done? This one could have been a little bit on this side. Like this river, if this river could have been a little bit lower for your viewing pleasure and understanding, that would have been nicer for you guys visually. But essentially, what I'm saying is going to be true, and it's only kind of weird when you run into these dead ends. So that's why I say always check a little under and a little over for those situations. Whenever the river changes direction and does like a little weird here, because we still have more, you know, there's more river going here, and there's like a little swivel, make sure you check the dead end walls a little lower and a little higher, because there could have been, for example, an entrance right here to there. You guys see what I mean? Instead of having the entrance right here to go into this village, there could have been an entrance right here to go into this village, and this could have just been blocked off. Now, if you kept going again, you would have, again, been kind of maybe frustrated if you never checked there. Do you see what I mean? Because you would have just assumed, oh yeah, let's just follow the river. Whenever the river wavers and it changes direction and there's somewhat of a wall or of a dead end somewhere, please, please, please check a little higher and check a little lower, because that village might have a weird entrance location. Do you guys see what I mean? And that's where the frustration comes from. Whew. Okay, but I think that's good, right? Explanation wise, you guys want to see Great Marsh? I know we skipped it because it wasn't necessary, but we could do that as well. And by the way, the coins, the money trail will be here shortly. You'll see, and that's when you'll know that Lower Kurast is here. Okay, where is the coins? Where are the coins? Wow, there's a far location for Lower Kurast. But the coins are here, very far. But once you get to these coins, you know that Lower Kurast is going to be right here. Okay, anyways, let's go to the Great Marsh, because I kind of want to see if it does eventually ever connect or no. Also, I should pick these up maybe. Okay, so our villages were there. There. Let's go quickly. This is also this. Okay, this was Spider Forest. Oh, wow, and Travis terrorized. Okay, but I remember that there was a pathway to Great Marsh from the Spider Forest, correct? Or was it this way? Oh, let's get some mana. Yes. Okay, so let's see this one. This is going to be our last showcase of the villages. Okay, we found our first village of the Great Marsh. It is going to be on this side of the river, so far southeast. And that's where we're always going to be looking. So this is our first village. Let's see which one it is. Is it an empty one or is it the waypoint one? Because the Great Marsh only has the 2 super chest ones and the waypoint. Okay. All right. So all of our villages from now on in the Great Marsh are going to be in this, like this high up or this low down, however you want to look at it, from which perspective, on the Great Marsh tile. Okay? So we're going to hug this wall. Boom. Second village. Great success. Let's see, is this a waypoint or another super chest? Or sparkly chest, I mean. Okay, boom. And then our third village, let's see. Can we make it 3 in a row? Or is there going to be a weird wraparound? Okay, good. But this is a good example of, because I want this to happen. I want these weird wraparounds to happen. Look at this. Oh, now look at this. We're actually kind of close to spider. We have to check this wall. And we have to go a little bit higher and a little bit lower. Okay, nothing there. And now we have to check our behind wall a little bit behind, because we are expecting the village to be on this height, on this tile right here. So like a village could have been behind us right here, this direction, behind these trees. Okay, that's where a village could have been, right here. Sorry, I actually kind of mean to say a little bit higher, like up here. Okay, it could have been behind these trees right here, or it could have been what? Behind these trees up there. Okay, but now we're going to hug the what? The top wall. And voila, because this is on the pathway, because the river changed direction, now we need to, like, again, visually, you need to pay attention to how high our villages are. And our villages are, oh, can we please go there? Are on this height. Do you guys see that village starting right there? Mm-hmm. So it's behind us on this side of the trees. Okay, it's behind us on this side of the trees, behind on this side. Then it would be what? If we kept going northeast, it would be up on top of these trees. So that's where we found our last village, and it's the waypoint village. Ta-da! Now I am curious, if we keep going, does this connect to Flare Jungle, or is it a dead ender? Oh my. It's a dead ender. So whoever, let's say, went into the Great Marsh and never kept going down Spider Forest to eventually find Flare Jungle, they would be greatly disappointed, because they would literally have to backtrack all the way, and at that point it's better to just start off in town again and just go through the Spider Forest. But they would have to backtrack all the way so that they could get to the Flare Jungle, because there's no connection here even. Isn't that something? Wow. Okay. Guys, this video has also turned into a long one, which is crazy. Whoop. Hold on. Yes, so we need to end it, actually. Mr. Flashbang, come over here. Be camera-esque, please. Come closer. And face the camera. Thank you, sir. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that it, clarified some things. Say hello to Mr. Spirit Bang, GG Demon, Curse, Multi-Shot, Cold Enchanted on Players 8, boys. But that's not what this video is about. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this has been a long one. I know some people don't like the long explanations, but I feel like, you know, also with practice comes perfect. So like just showing you guys one example seems not enough. And I want it to be in real time, and I want to almost predict what it's going to be before it, you know, is showcased, so that you guys don't think that I'm, you know, again, like kind of going with the flow and making it up. So, you know, I hope you guys took it seriously, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe it was a little lengthy, but just like the Duriel finding one, I feel like it needs a little bit background and a little extra explanation. And I sprinkled in some extra information about the connections and about the lower Karash chest and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let's take a look really quickly one last time on the paint. Again, the name of the game is this, that once you find your first village, okay, there's going to be 3 villages per zone, right, for your Spider Forest, your Great Marsh, and your Flare Jungle. Each zone will have 3 villages, okay. One is going to be completely like useless and empty. The other one is going to be your waypoint one with a useless dungeon in a sense, or like a useless area. And the third one is going to be a useful area that you need for your quest, right? Those mini villages, what I call villages, will be located, once you find your first one, in this on the same height of the tile that you found your first one on. And a nice indicator for our eyes would be to, for example, use the river. Okay, so a river is a nice indicator, meaning if you find a village on the left of the river, or like, let's say, north of the river, um, your villages will be on that side. Okay. Now, again, the hard part is when the river changes direction, like in this little picture here. But remember, it doesn't matter. In general, the map generate or the village generation will still persist with this theory. It's not a theory; it's a fact with this information. Okay, it's always going to be like that. Again, sometimes you always I recommend please when you do hit kind of like a river changing direction, and you hit kind of a dead end wall sometimes with the trees, you need to check a little bit higher and a little bit lower because the entrance to the next village might be offset, but the village itself, or maybe vice versa, I'm saying this backwards maybe, that the entrance will not be offset, but the village might look like it's a little offset compared to the other two villages, let's say, that you found. But in general, it's all going to be in the same height of the tile going northeast as you would, for example, towards Travancore and everything in like about Act 3 is that, right? It's about that northeast direction. So anyways, y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you like Diablo 2 content or just Diablo 2 stuff. I don't really put out that much content, so don't worry about that. Like separate videos. All of my videos pretty much essentially are in the live section, and just look at the titles and they say what I've been doing that day, and what I've been talking about and yada yada. But if you guys do enjoy, I guess it helps with the algorithm, yeah, to smash the like button, people say, and make sure you're subscribed. And there's also like a Discord link on the official like YouTube channel if you click on my channel. So please come by the stream anytime. I stream pretty much every day. Sometimes twice a day, sometimes even 3 times in shorter sessions. So stop by anytime. I can help you guys out. I rush all the time. I also kind of partnered up, or not like unofficially, but like we're, a lot of these, I want to say, not to offend anybody, but some of these smaller content creators, we're doing things all together. So like helping rushes or colossal ancients or, torch farming and stuff like that. So yeah, stop by anytime, guys. Let us know. Let me know if you guys need help with anything. But yeah, also let me know in the comments below what kind of other informational videos you guys would want me to make, because there's a whole bunch, but I feel like a lot of it is repetitive. So like the Duriel location finding, there's like the opposite of that is applied to, for example, Indariel and Bale. But in essence, right, the concept is the same. So I don't know if like I want to do like for each little zone, but maybe I should. Just let me know in the comments below though what kind of frustrations you guys still have with the game, like when it comes to, map reading in general, and I will try to help out with that, and maybe I'll do one specifically towards, something that you guys liked and requested, okay? Just let me know. Anyways, peace out, YouTube. Take it easy, everybody. Adios, amigos. Bye, 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 bye. Say hello and bye to Mr. Spirit Bang, and thank you for his help. And I will see you in the next one. All right? Jable's out, and I hope you guys learned something. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one. Hope you guys are enjoying season 14. Bye-bye.